Here's another practice question where we're going to use the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic equation. So first, how do we know that this is a quadratic equation? Well, we look at our variables in this expression. So what we see is y squared and y. And the biggest exponent that we see on these variables is the squared. Okay, so 2 is the biggest exponent. That tells us that this is a quadratic equation. So we're going to use the quadratic formula. Before we can start, we need to rearrange this equation so that the y squared comes first, then the y, and then the number, and then the equal sign with a 0 on the other side. So what we're going to do is move everything to the left side. So we're going to leave the 2.32 y squared where it is, but then we're going to take the 8.71 y to the other side. And when we do that, we always change the sign of it. So the positive 8.71 y becomes negative. And likewise for the 3.14, when we move it to the left side of the equal sign, we get a negative 3.14. And now what's left on the right side of that equals is just a 0. There's nothing left. So next what we want to do is identify the a, the b, and the c in this equation. So the a is always the number in front of the squared term. So we've got our squared term over here. The number in front of it is a, so 2.32. Our b is the number in front of the variable that's not squared. So this is our b. It's negative 8.71. So don't forget that that negative stays with that number. And our c is the number that's by itself, that doesn't have a variable next to it. That's our c. So now we're going to write out the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula always begins with the variable that you're trying to solve for. So in this case, the variable is y is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So now we're going to sub in all of the numbers that we have for a, b, and c. So my b is negative 8.71, but there's a negative here, so don't forget negative 8.71 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that would be negative 8.71 squared minus 4 times a, 2.32, times c, negative 3.14. Now I'm going to just extend my square root sign because it's all supposed to be in there, all over, that was messy, all over 2a. So 2 times my a value, which is 2.32. So next I'm just going to type in to my calculator what I see under the square root sign. So just this part right here, without the square root, I'm just going to type it in. So I have bracket negative 8.71 closed bracket squared minus 4 times 2.32 times negative 3.14. And I get 105.0033. So I'm going to write everything out. I'm just going to simplify a little bit. Negative times negative 8.71 gives me positive 8.71 because two negatives multiplied by each other give me a positive. Plus or minus the square root of the number that I just got on my calculator, 105.0033, all over 2 times 2.32. So when I type that up, I get 4.64. All right, so now I'm going to just scroll down a little bit. So now what I want to do is I want to type this on my calculator, but there's a plus and a minus. That means I get two different answers. So I'm going to write these out separately. Y equals 8.71 plus root 105.0033 over 4.64. I also get y equals 8.71 minus root 105.0033 over 4.64. So when I type this on my calculator, I just need to be careful. The easiest way to do this is to put a bracket on the top when I'm typing for both cases. Depends on your calculator. Sometimes you need the bracket, sometimes you don't. So if you want to be safe, let's just put it in. So we're going to put bracket 8.71 plus square root 105.0033. Now I'm going to close the bracket, divided by 4.64, and I get one answer, which is 4.09. So I'm going to round to 2 decimal places. The question you get will tell you how much to round to. And then I also get y equals, now I'm going to type this on my calculator, 8.71 minus square root 105.0033, close the bracket, divided by 4.64. And I get negative 0.33. And that's what I get when I round it to 2 decimal places. All right, so I hope that helps. So now you know how to use the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic equation. Thanks for watching. Bye.